Hey guys, it's Cece, and today I'm here to do an HP Chats video. HP Chats is a video series that I do here on my channel all about Harry Potter. Every video is a discussion or a critique or just me talking about how much I love Harry Potter. I have a full playlist of videos if you would like to hear me gush some more, and today I'm going to be talking about our man Harry himself. In the past, I've done some other character-centric videos such as why Neville is my favorite character or Ron Weasley in the movies versus in the books, and over again I have gotten a request to do a Harry-centric video, so that's what I'm going to do. And today I'm going to be talking about Harry as a character and why he should never have become an Auror. If you've watched my channel or my HP Chats videos before, you probably know what profession I have in mind for Harry, but first, let's jump in and talk about why I think being an Auror is a position that Harry should not have taken and that I don't think he would have taken. Bullet point number 1 on this list is that Harry has an incredibly questionable and strenuous relationship with the Ministry for Magic. Harry has spent his entire time in the wizarding world growing up and learning how corrupt and how inept the Ministry itself can be. And not only has he learned this from afar, but he's been shown how the political system has directly turned against him despite the fact that he knew he was telling the truth. And I just feel like you don't finish the Wizarding War and decide to forgive all of that. Forgive a government that failed you again and again for your entire adolescence. The only person that Harry sees working for the Ministry for all 7 books is Arthur Weasley, and he's a character who is incredibly mistreated within the Ministry. He's made fun of, he's not taken seriously, and this is a man Harry has so much respect for. To see someone that he has that much respect for being mistreated, I just feel like that would also leave a very bad taste in his mouth. Plus, Dumbledore, a guy Harry has admired for most of his life, is a constant naysayer of the Ministry and their ability to get anything done. So yes, at the end of the books, Kingsley is put in charge, and Kingsley is a person that Harry trusts, but after all of his other experiences with the Ministry, I just feel like that's not enough for him to go, you know what, I still definitely want to be a wizard cop. And I would completely be on Harry's side if he didn't believe that defeating one evil was going to completely destroy the day-to-day evil that still exists in this government. Now on to a point people like to make when I start to make this argument, which is that Harry is a hothead. He runs into situations, and that seems like the perfect temperament for someone who wants to be an Auror. But from my perspective, this is only some of Harry's character, and he rushes into situations, yes, but he does it for very specific reasons, and those reasons are protecting the people that he cares about. He had his childhood taken away, and I just don't see him continuing to rush into danger over and over again when he finally has a bit of freedom from that life. Running into danger, being the center of attention, being the chosen one, was a life that Harry resisted at every turn. And yes, this is what makes him a good leader. The people who resist leadership are the ones who should be in charge, but he did constantly resist that danger and the things that it was doing to his life. Not only that, but, you know, spoilers for the end of the series, just in case, I guess. But like, Harry died. Dude died. I think he has complete right to go and live in a cabin in the woods for the rest of his life drinking tea if that's what he would like to do. He has earned whatever he would like as far as resting and comfort. This is kind of a minor bullet point, but it's a thing I saw pointed out on Tumblr once that I totally agree with as far as characterization of Harry James Potter, and that is wanting to be an Auror when you're a teenager is basically like wanting to be a firefighter when you're a kid. Sure, maybe you grow up and that's still the same thing you want to do, but dreams change drastically as you get older and as you have different experiences, and I just feel like this is not a dream that would have lasted. So those are all of my personal reasons why I don't think Harry would go on to be an Auror, despite what J.K. Rowling says, but again, if you know anything about my channel, you know that I don't care at all what J.K. Rowling says about basically anything ever. But if I don't think he should go on to be a wizard cop, what is the career choice that obviously Harry should have taken? It is to be a professor. I feel like most of you know this. I deeply believe that Harry's career choice should have been going into teaching and being a professor, and I think that that is what he would have done if we go along with his characterization from the 7 books that we have read. Bullet point 1, the entirety of Order of the Phoenix. Okay, I'm gonna break this down a little bit, but I feel like if you get through Order of the Phoenix and you don't see why he should be a professor, I don't know what to tell you. That entire book was written to show how good Harry is at that job and how much he loves it. Harry may be a hothead who runs into danger, but he also knows how to be incredibly patient with the people he is teaching. He uses different teaching styles and different methods with different people because he understands that people learn in different ways, and it is so helpful to so many of the people. He almost definitely learned to be good at this because of Remus Lupin and the incredible power that he had in a classroom. He knows how to connect to students, he knows how to teach the skills, he's incredibly good at them. But beyond that, in all of the PTSD angst that is happening in Order of the Phoenix, the only thing that makes Harry actually happy is teaching. In Order of the Phoenix, the book, he talks about how he actually feels happy for the first time in months as he thinks about each of the individual members of the DA and how they have improved over time. He is so proud of them as he thinks of particular skills that particular people have gained in the months since he started teaching them, and he is constantly thinking of new ways to educate. He's basically making lesson plans in his head in this book. He even says at one point that he does not know what his emotional state would be like were it not for the DA, and he feels like he is living for the time that he gets to spend in the room of requirement. Order of the Phoenix is just one big long thesis statement about why Harry James Potter should have been a professor. And specifically, in my opinion, a professor for Defense Against the Dark Arts, which was easily his best subject, and not just in applicable knowledge and like first-hand fighting evil. In Order of the Phoenix, Hermione specifically says that the only time they had a competent teacher and both sat down to take the test, which was in Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry beat her in his Defense Against the Dark Arts scores. So yes, he's good at real-world application of Defense Against the Dark Arts, but whenever people argue that he wasn't a good student, I don't think people are seeing what's happening. He's an incredibly good student in regards to the things he cares about, and he did better than Hermione in a test situation for the subject. So yes, his skills at Defense Against the Dark Arts could mean that he would be a really great Auror, but with his temperament, I just feel like his passion for this subject and his strong ability within the subject would lead him to do something very different. Also, Hogwarts is Harry's home, and it just makes sense that he would want to return there. Where better to make kids feel like they are wanted and needed than returning back to Hogwarts? Also, I think that Harry sees the ways in which the system has failed kids specifically, and he has first-hand knowledge of what a terrible professor can do to a place that should feel like home for these kids for the first time. He defeated the curse on the position. I think that means he's allowed to take it now. Now, a bullet point where I'm picking at the books themselves, I think that it would just be stronger for narrative symmetry if he wanted to become a professor. Okay, so we're gonna get into some fan theory stuff just a little bit here, but it has to be done. Now, I am the last person who wants to compare my love, Harry James Potter, to Severus Snape and Lord Voldemort, but that's exactly what we're going to do. The parallels between these three characters exist, and it just would have made narrative sense for those parallels to play out in the future. These are pretty common parallels to talk about, I think, so if you Google it, you can get a little bit more information, but basically, Voldemort, Snape, and Harry come from very similar places, and that continues to follow them throughout their lives. All three of them grew up in homes where they were underappreciated and unloved. None of them were purebloods, and some of them have more hang-ups about that than others. All three of them finally found their true home when they got to Hogwarts for the first time. Both Snape and Voldemort expressed a desire to teach, specifically the Defense Against the Dark Arts position, and I'm not saying they were good professors or that Voldemort would have been a good professor. Very morally questionable, but they did both know their stuff. Maybe this comparison doesn't speak in Harry's favor directly, but there are these parallels between three people who controlled the Elder Wand, who were connected to the three brothers, and those connections just keep happening. It would have made sense to continue those connections. But really, if you haven't looked into the parallels between these three characters and their connection to the three brothers and to the Hallows specifically, I highly encourage you to do that. It's super interesting. So a common argument against Harry becoming a professor is he wouldn't have become a professor, then he would have been away from his family, and that's terrible. He has to be at home being a dad. Or at least he has to be able to come home at the end of a 9 to 5 and be with his kids. So here we are, I will be the first in line to complain about the epilogue and my feelings about it, in that I don't think Harry is the type of character, or Ginny for that matter, to immediately settle down and pop out a bunch of kids. And considering Harry and Ginny were two people who had their childhoods taken away, who are still obviously going to be trying to recover post-Wizarding War, I just feel like we shouldn't be trying to dictate their future career choices based on future fictional children and their ability to parent. And this is nitpicky too, but I don't really feel like we see Harry longing for children all that often throughout the series. Not that he wouldn't want children eventually, but what he longs for is a family, and by the end of the series he's found that. So I think the push to get married and immediately have kids wouldn't necessarily be there, because he's found a group of people who love him, and now he can be allowed to recover and do something he loves, i.e. teaching. I don't know, I just feel like there's so much trauma in Harry's life, it's bizarre to expect him to immediately start a family. He has too much to work through. Too much. So, in summary, Harry gets into a lot of trouble, but that is not the only defining characteristic of his personality. Harry loves specifically to be able to help others. He runs into danger because it is an opportunity to help. He is smart, he is witty, and he knows how to apply the knowledge that he gains. He's specifically been proven to have the interpersonal skills that characters like Hermione lack. He knows how to connect to people on very individual levels and how to help them improve in the best ways. His somewhat sassy and tendency to get into trouble nature reminds me more of Remus than anybody else, and I feel like this is a person he would draw so much of his inspiration from. You can be a Gryffindor with a knack for shenanigans, but you can also put that passion and that silliness and that willingness to connect to people back into teaching. And he can continue to fight daily in the smallest of ways instead of going out to fight personally, which is a thing he resisted for book after book. So there you go, guys. Those are my feelings about Harry James Potter and the fact that he absolutely 100% should have been a professor. I also have a lot of really important headcanons, mostly that have come from Tumblr, as far as Harry creating a home for kids who don't have a better home to go to, him working on some kind of foster care system for the wizarding world so that kids in terrible situations never have to go back to an abusive home. Like, those headcanons are so deeply important to me. He and Neville could work on it together, like a summer home type situation for Hogwarts students. It's just... he cares so much, and I just want more for him than becoming a wizard cop because he's compassionate and I want him to be able to use that. Anyway, what do you think about my points? What do you think about my career choice for Harry Potter? Please let me know all of those things in the comments below. Generally, let's just get a Harry Potter discussion going. If you have ideas for future HP chats you would really like me to do, please leave those in the comments below as well. I'm constantly looking for more Harry Potter discussion ideas. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!